An ounce of performance is worth pounds of promises. Can you think of that? Think about you and a promise. The promise is nothing more than what? A commitment. A commitment to for service, a commitment where you either agree to do something for a customer or even in your personal life, or if you also promise to refrain from doing something. Accountability. When you are being accountable, you are rendering what? An expectation. And you're showing responsibility for it. Hello, everyone. I'm Marlene Foster with Empower the Vision. Today, we're going to have a discussion, you and I, about promises. The promises that we make, the implied promises, and the express promises. Let's start with the implied. And implied is nothing more than what? Actions. Think of an action that you do in your business that shows that it is an implied promise. For an example, if you see a house on fire and you call the fire department, do they come out and ask you to sign an agreement that says that you have to sign here and agree to something? They don't, do they? They just act, right? They come out and they do exactly what you expect them to do. They are what? Accountable. That's accountability. What if you call because there's someone trying to break into your home? You call and the police arrives. The implied promise of the police department is to do what? Protect and serve the community, right? Protect and serve. When you walk into one of your favorite restaurants or place of business, a place that you really enjoy, really enjoy going there, what do you expect from it? Let's say if you go into one of your favorite restaurants or even a restaurant in general, you expect the service to be impeccable, right? You expect the tables to be clean and maintained. You expect there to be clean silverware. There's expectations we have, correct? Because when you look at going into restaurants or businesses in general, all of us have what? Expectation. Now, let's look at express promise. An express promise has three different things. There is what? An offer. In my business, I offer businesses to help them empower protection. Protection in the midst of an uncertainty within their business and in their home lives. That's what I help them to do. I offer. And then they turn around and do what? If they accept, then we can move forward to the third part. So there's a promise there, express promise first to what? I'm offering them a service, a strategy, a way to protect their business. Second, they have the option now to what? Accept it. And third is the consideration, which is payment. They will now pay me for the service that I offer, right? Now, I want to ask you right now, in your business, I'd like for you to write two things down for me in the comment section. I want you to join me. You'll be joining me from now on. When we talk, we're going to be talking together here. Write down an implied promise that you make in your business. And then also write down and express. What do you express in your business that the customers can then do what? Can there be an offer, an acceptance, and consideration? And I even thought about the other day, my granddaughter was with me, and I took her to the doctor's office, right? Now, let me ask you this. The doctor's office, you walk in, you make an appointment, and you walk in, and then they give you prescription. A prescription is filled, right? Now, from what I just told you, you make an appointment with the doctor. You walk into the doctor's office. Now the doctor's giving you a prescription. Out of the actions that I just described, which one, I want you to write this down in the comments section. Which one do you feel is the express promise? I call up on the telephone and I get an appointment. I go in and the doctor takes care of my granddaughter, takes care of her medical needs, and then following that is a prescription. Which one do you feel is the express? You would say express promise. And then think about it. What there's actually a combination here. What do you feel also would be maybe considered an implied? Maybe it could be an implied promise. But which one do you feel mainly would be expressed, an express promise here? Going to the doctor. What if you got a pet who's sick? You take the pet to the veterinarian, right? And you go in and they are now servicing, giving you they're servicing your pet. They're servicing same thing as it would if it were yourself or even a family member. Now, what type of promise was made there? What kind of promise did the veterinarian make? Was it an implied promise or an express promise? And again, what kind of promise would you say are mainly made in your business? Mainly, what type do you make? When you show customers testimonial, we love to see testimonials, right? And what if you are reading, you're getting ready to go on vacation, or if you're going somewhere for business, and you're looking at hotels, and you're looking at the reviews that people have written about those hotels. They're telling you explicitly what occurred, how it occurred, how good it was, how bad it was. What do you feel you're getting right there in those written reviews? The written reviews are mainly what? They're showing you mainly what happened to them. And this was now their interpretation. Remember now, also, when you're looking at promise, the interpretation of one person versus the interpretation of another. But when you look at reviews, you look at testimonials, especially the ones that you show customers that are in your favor. Would you say that those are more mainly, are those express or are they just, would you say, implied? Because now at that particular point, this is where they've written about how your service helped them, what you did in your service, but they don't go into a lot of detail, do they? There's not a lot of detail there. So when you're looking at reviews and you're looking at the testimonials that are made and even case studies, you're looking at that case studies are more detailed. So the case study would then give you more substance as to what occurred between the business owner and that customer. And at that point, it may end up being, you may see an express promise that was made within a case study because it's so much more detailed. But your reviews, again, and implied, when you look at the ones that are listed, the reviews that you read, those have to be interpreted by who? The reader. You have to interpret that. Now, when I think about myself on the medical end, let's think about medical. Like I said, when you walk into a doctor's office, right, and you know that we have that expectation that they're going to make us better, don't we? There's an expectation there, right? And how many of you have seen that movie, Hacksaw Ridge, where this young soldier goes in and he's actually a person who, I think he's Seventh-day Adventist. I know about the religion because my mother's Seventh-day Adventist, and there's certain things that they do, actions that they can do and can't do, especially on the Sabbath, which is Saturday. But he said that he was there, as a medic, not to carry a weapon, not to go through the training, not to kill anyone, right? He was there to do what? He was there to help service, to help keep the soldiers healthy. That is what his promise was at that particular time. But now he's offering, but at that particular moment, if you read the book, and this actually happened, this is real. This story, this is a real story. When he first started off, he made an offer that they did not accept. The military, the sergeants, the majors, everybody pretty much spoke against him, didn't they? They did not like what his plan was for being there. They did not. They wanted him to fight and train along with everybody else, right? But that's not what his intention was. So he fought and he fought and he fought until they finally gave him permission. They said to just go along with them and just, if he died, he died. Okay, because he had not done what he needed to do to stay safe, right? Because he didn't train with the rest of the men. So, but when he got there, he got up on that ridge. He started saving lives. He saved lives of those people, those soldiers who had spoken against him, didn't they? They saw him, and at that point, they were reaching out to him in dire need, asking for his help. He offered, right? And up on that ridge, they started to do what? Accept his terms, didn't they? They accepted. They accepted the terms that he had put in place for them. And I want to tell you that as he continued to keep, actually getting more and more soldiers help, then they started to turn around. And now the consideration came when they decided to what? Support. They supported him. They supported him because when he got up there, and I can't recall exactly how many people he saved, but I want to say 25, and he did it solely on his own. And I could be wrong with the number, but there was somewhere within that range. But there he was alone, helping not only his countrymen, but he also helped the other country. He brought down people, he saved the lives of also soldiers who were fighting against him. I've read the book, and when I saw the movie, it was so passionate because when you think about those of us, and in order to be, I tell people all the time, actually business owners, if you want to be someone who's credible, that people trust, you got to first trust yourself. And then you've got to also give what you're looking to receive in return, right? Because like I was saying, when you go to do business, you want honesty, correct? You want honesty. You want commitment. You want integrity. If you want if you want to receive that from your clientele, be willing to give it. Be willing to give it so that you can receive, in return. And so I want you to think about, again, right now, in your business, what are some of the terms that you can think of now? Let's think of right now something new that you'd like to offer. In your business, what are some new terms that you like to offer that show that you are truly being credible? Because credibility is truly the promise that you show, promises that where you show commitment, the promises where you're showing that you're accountable, and the expectations of being met. Your product is quality. The product that let's say if you're a person who's a real estate agent, and your service there and the houses that you put on the market, you are showing those customers, those new homeowners, you showing them what you would want to have also returned to you, to yourself. Think about it. Today, as I was saying, write down something that you, in your business, you would love to be able to now show within your business. And also think about those individuals and think about the type of case studies that could be shown. The case study, think of the testimonials that can be received. Think about the word of mouth. All of that equals credibility. Think about it. How can you today step forward? Again, and I want to tell you one that I've seen this happen in my business that really caused a major, major problem. And there was a partnership where a key employee died. And they were not prepared for his death. meaning that this key employee had a craft that nobody else had. And he was so unique. His uniqueness helped that business to just soar within the industry. They had no one else that could just step up at that moment and take his place. So now they had to stop and think about what they thought about what they should have done. They stopped to think we should have had some coverage in place on a key employee so that if there was disability, death, or even termination, we would be ready. And also have a successor, somebody else who could also work along beside him to learn some of his skills, or even somebody who had their own uniqueness, somebody else that they could have used, also a product or service that could have also given that business credibility. And in that particular instance, I've run across businesses that have this has happened to, and they now have buy-sell agreements in place. Sometimes you have to actually be hurt. You have to feel pain before you can learn the right things that need to take place. And at that, even in your company, in your business, what type of promise are you making to your employees? What's the promise that's in place? The promise that pretty much says that I'm willing to help you to grow so that you can protect your family. I'm willing to help you to grow so that you can provide yourself for retirement one day. That comes, think about it. And express, that could be expressed and it can also be implied. The express mainly is that you're giving them ways that you're putting them through training, right? They're training and you've offered and they're doing the training and now they're willing to do what? If you got someone who is ill or someone who's leaving the company, you now have somebody who can now step into their shoes because of the express promises that are put in place. You offer by putting the training in place. They accept the training, and then you have them to do what? Practice. Put it in place and show that they know how to perform. And then when it does occur where somebody does leave or something does occur, you're now ready. You're ready now for the business itself to take off, right? And that person, think about it, other employees within the business, they're watching you. They're watching what you're doing. And now they want to maybe come to, if you have those lunch and learn sessions, they want to come. They're ready to learn, ready to practice, ready to cross train. You really have to show your employees, you have to show your customers that you care. That's like in my business, if I write a policy, if I see that they haven't paid the premium, I reach out or I set an appointment and go see them and see if there's something going on that maybe I can help with. But I let them know they have a grace period. If that time period isn't met, then the policy itself will expire. And I've had that to happen numerous times. And when I went to talk with them, and if something dire, some type of dire emergency had come up, then what we did was I showed them what they could do in that event. So I already knew what the challenge was. I already knew. So basically, I promised already. My promise was to help them. Promise to help them against what? The unexpected. Promise. And so today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying to you that in your businesses, create greater credibility by being more accountable, being responsible for your actions, being responsible for the commitment that you have, for the businesses that you now have under your wing. Help them. And also help yourself by showing also your clientele that you also trust who you are. You trust that you can make a difference in their lives. And so wanted to thank you today for being here with me, being here and looking at how we can become again more credible. And I want to tell you that there will be a workshop that's coming up a week from today. And that workshop will give you some strategies, some ideas about credibility. That workshop will give you stories of how some business owners, how those business owners, these are not just scenarios are made of stories. These are actual business owners and who will be describing and will be relating to you, telling you how they actually helped themselves and how they help their business to evolve. They're going to be talking to you about, again, like we talked about, reliability. Their reliability within the business, how reliability helped them to take off, how they were reliable, how they were believable. Just like we talked with you some weeks ago about Michael Jordan, how they practiced. Practice makes perfect, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you got to practice and keep moving forward in your business. It's like Michael did, and he only had his high school sweetheart was the only one who really believed in him at that time. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, and know that if you don't have what you need today, keep practicing until you get to where you need to be. So belief. We're going to talk about, there'll be businesses that will be on board with us a week from today, talking about believability, the belief also that when you are doing business, that you are letting your customers know that this is what you do and this is how you can help them, whatever problem that they're facing, and how you believe that that they can actually make it up the mountain. They can make it. Also, show them also how vulnerable you can be. Share stories with them. And in this workshop, I believe you'll find it so exciting because there'll be something that I'm going to ask you to do in your own business. Come and discover. And also there's going to be a competition. There'll be a competition that you can be involved in. The first 10 who actually enroll, the first 10 names that I see, there'll be a drawing. And the drawing will help me to determine the top 3 individuals who will receive a great opportunity then to receive visibility across several communities. This is something that you don't want to miss. Come again and learn. And let's personalize. We're going to personalize your business. How can you learn to become more credible in your business? And how then can you help those who you are doing business with? Help them as well to become more credible. Because as you teach others, it empowers you, strengthens you. You know that? Because it is more empowering because you're empowering them first of all with a service or product, right? And now you're teaching them about credibility. So that means that when they become more credible within their business, and then you have them to write about it, give referrals, give a testimonial, even do maybe a case study. You've empowered yourself and your clientele. You've empowered the employees there at the business. That is so. I remember thinking as I worked for a business, when I worked for a business that had that type of credibility, I would go out and brag on them. Make your employees brag on you. Show credibility within your business to your colleagues who will now go out and give word of mouth. That word of mouth. Remember, word of mouth is less, it's not as costly as these other advertisements that you have. And I want to say thank you today for being here with me, Marcia. Thank you. I appreciate seeing you today. But I want to say to you, continue to practice credibility. I'll be helping you a week from today. And like I said, come early on the 16th. Put your name, enroll so that you can be one of the top 10 to be in the drawing that will occur. And I'm telling you, this will be phenomenal. So I am looking forward to this event, and I know that you'll enjoy it. And those of you who are not even part of the three, you will still learn a lot that will help you to push forward, that will help you when you are, like I said, when you're doing business. Again, creating credibility, not only for your client, for your customers to see, but do it so that they can now do what? They can talk about you with family members, with friendship. They're talking about you. Word of mouth is powerful, guys. So empowering. I've seen it for a number of years in my own business. So thanking you again today. And look forward to seeing you next Thursday at the workshop, where we will then talk about how to empower the credibility that you already have in place. If you've got something you're doing, I'd like to hear about it. If you want to put it in the comments, or if you like to even send me a direct mail, I want to know what you're doing and how I can help you to reinforce what you're doing already, what you're doing in place. And then there's something that you may not, it's unexpected that you could be doing. And that's what you'll find out from me next Thursday. Thank you again, and look forward to seeing you. And thank you so much for being here with me today. And have a great Thursday.